Yeah,
Hey,
computers like to throw. Oh,
no, dude, it was all me. This was completely a human error
Mm.
that I screwed up on, and hopefully we're streaming now. Um, and so if anyone, yeah, hopefully we are streaming now. What I did was that, well, you probably already know this, is that I set up it for 9:30 p.m. as against 9:30 a.m. And so yeah, all right. So John Hudson's here. So in the chat. So maybe we are streaming. And yeah, Crypto Mary's here too. So it looks like I'm streaming
yep.
as I hit through. Yeah. So basically, tomfoolery. You're Dr. Tom. You sound fantastic, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. And Tolvin Templeman, how are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing well, man. There's been some new developments for me. I've gotten to be a part of some stuff that's really it's been fun, and man, I'm stoked, man. I'm really excited about the future.
Oh wow, excited about the future.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's that's yeah. I mean, I can't really say that I'm stoked about the future. I mean, there's no existential dread for me about the future, I guess.
No existential dread. Are you sure about
No,
that?
yeah, yeah. I wow, that could easily turn any conversation dark within
Not,
2 fucking
not
seconds.
even a little.
So I want to just focus on the positivity here, Tobin Templeman. So what's going on so positive, brother? So what's on the upswing for you?
um. Well, one of them is there's a YouTube channel, Overprotected Atheist,
Yeah.
and the person who runs that channel, we were both on the Tang show, Turned Up,
Yeah.
and this person does cartoons, and I like the cartoon idea and stuff, and I asked her, I was like, hey, could I play a character? Let me do some voice work. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, but I just don't know what you would say. And I was like, sure, I'll let me write a dialogue. So I wrote one up, and it got put together, and she released it yesterday.
Is that the one that you sent me, Tobin?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll check it out after the show. I'm going to cram like a ton of work in within an
Yeah.
hour before I have to go into work, or a little bit over an hour. So, but yeah, I'll check it out definitely.
It's just a 3-minute clip. I really didn't try to write too much. I wanted to see how it would work out, but I think we're actually talking about doing a series. It might
Less
be
is more.
something to play with.
3 minutes. I mean, for comedy. I mean, if it is comedy.
Yeah, it is. I'm totally mocking the Bible.
Yeah, that's good. So 3 minutes is more than sufficient for making jokes and doing comedy. So yeah, I think that I think if you're a writer, then you fall in love with your own material so much that you want it to go long, and you're like, no, you figure out pretty quickly that it's like you got to take stuff out
Oh
to,
yeah.
to make it punchy, right, and to hold people's attention. Because once again, the average view time on YouTube is like 6 minutes or so. Um, Why, thank you, John Hudson. That's the nicest thing you ever said to me, which I just assumed that's what I'm the one that you're referring to on that.
But yeah.
So that's exciting too. Yeah. So once again, 3 minutes. And if you ever want someone to take a look at a script and punch it up, or if you want, another set of eyes, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Dude, that would, yes. I'll totally take you up on that. I will. Because I think that's what makes a really awesome piece of artwork, whichever field you're going into, is whenever there's been multiple hands on it, and the idea has been bounced back and forth between some people. It just really refines it. It can make it just really entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about writers' rooms.
This is true. This is exactly true. And Kendra says, I'm excited about the music too. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are, you're just little
Yeah.
artist commune out there, Tobin Templeman. That's what you are.
Yeah, the more I get done with the building, the more time I'm gonna have to put effort into this. I'm either even going to be I'm trying to help out different channels and become more of a part of it. You know, not do more than just viewing. I want to
Yeah.
like help be a part of the channel and of these different channels that I have been watching for a long time, and just be a part of the community
Yeah, that's good, dude.
instead of
All the more
I
power
stay.
to you. Yeah. So Black Female Atheist said, love that collaboration you did with Overprotected Atheist. Nice.
Awesome.
So Dr. Tom Foolery, we were talking on or messaging back and forth. Looks like you're preparing, or you did a proto Twitch stream last night.
Yeah, I did a test stream with Sammy yesterday, and today I plan on doing a actual, just real do the stream kind of thing on Twitch
Right.
for basically building redstone computer in Minecraft.
Cool.
So if you're
What
interested
time?
in
What time?
time would be late afternoon, starting time kind of range, depending on exactly when I get things together. But
Sure.
yeah, Stone Monkey Research is the Twitch channel.
Stone Monkey Research.
Yep.
Very nice.
That's the organization that I claim to run, the Stone Monkey Research Laboratories.
Very nice. Very nice.
Could I be one of the monkeys that you do research on? We do get stoned, right?
No, it's the monkeys that are doing the research, actually.
Do the monkeys get to throw stones? Yeah, that would be pretty cool too.
First one to cast the stones. Yep, that'll be me. Let me take that shot.
That's right. Scapegoat says, I watched the Overprotected Atheist clip yesterday, and I thought to myself, that guy sounds exactly like Tobin. There you go. Nice voice guy. Very nice. Very nice. So that sounds very positive.
So all about computation and stuff. The first thing I'm doing is Minecraft computer.
Okay. I will say that that I'm at a point, creatively speaking, that's like just cranking out the material, right? It is, I'm happy with doing the material, but it is definitely a job, in that it is definitely just like showing up, punching keys, talking into camera, that kind of, yeah, which I enjoy, don't get me wrong. But I think so that's, and I feel like I've been in this stage for a long time.
I'm actually at my workbench right now for more physical projects. I'll turn around my camera and show you what that looks like.
Okay.
So I got workbench with various tools and stuff, computer screen for doing stuff.
Very nice, dude. Very
And
nice.
over there I got other stuff and random.
Oh, we lost Tobin.
I guess I scared him off with all the hardware and stuff.
Nice. Very nice. So, Big Zebra, you had trouble finding this stream because I originally set it up for 9:30 p.m. by mistake. And so for like a few minutes before the show, or during the early parts of the show, I'm like hitting buttons with my monkey fist trying to fix it. So yeah, we're just trying to be mysterious. Oh, Tobin's back.
Hey, Tobin, what happened?
Texas.
Not sure. Yeah.
Texas happened.
Texas happened. Yes, Big Zebra. Usually the shows run relatively smoothly. I may not have great production values for the shows, but they do run smoothly overall, basically. But today was just a silly mistake on my part.
Yeah,
I'm
mostly
having an issue. I'm sorry. I have to close out. I'm sorry.
Good luck,
I'll see
man.
y'all later.
I hope that wasn't the death beep, like the beep of imminent death, right? Or something horrible happening.
might be the beep of imminent death of his computer or battery or something.
Oh, the battery. That's right. Yeah. Though
Yeah.
that would be problematical.
You run a fairly turnkey operation here on StreamYard, right?
Oh yeah, dude. It's yeah. The only time that the key doesn't get turned is when it's me. Very few times. What's up, bigzebra.com?
Yeah, sometimes you try and turn the key the wrong direction. End up being PM
Sometimes.
instead of AM.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. You're looking good today, Mr. Zebra.
Thank you. It's I hope you're all having a very zebra kind of day. It's a zebra kind of day is like the best sort of day you can have, but you add stripes to it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sorry, I feel like I interrupted just by coming in, but
Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not.
Okay.
This is just, I don't think we were actually on any rants, or at least I wasn't ranting, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, I had a curious question about your puppets again.
oh yeah. I got a whole bunch of them.
The thing is that in the case of finger puppets,
Yeah.
it's sort of like single digit fisting.
It is like single fist. You have to make this weird, right? But you are right.
Well, yeah.
Single digit. This is Karl Marx, by the way. I don't know if you can really get
Oh, hi, Carl.
you can get a good view of Karl.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think I remember reading that he wrote his famous work in the British Museum. He just went there every day and sat down and wrote it.
He was in England. Yep. And I've never read. Well, his. You know, you can always tell people who are the hardcore Marx scholars is when they can start talking about Das Kapital. You know, and that's like 800 pages of Marx right there. I'm happy to have read of course, the very thin Communist Manifesto, which actually doesn't really do much for a blueprint about how Marxism is supposed to work.
I guess I was wondering I've often wondered if we didn't have Karl Marx and the subsequent communism, would we have labor rights today?
Well, yeah, I think
we might not.
There would be, there are those. I feel silly while I'm finger fisting Karl Marx here, but I guess I'll go.
But he
with
digs it though. He's got a smile on his face.
He's
into going, give it to me, baby.
It's all cool. So I think that there is just as Newton has his laws of motion, right? There is force, and you have a force, and then there's a force. It creates its own resistance in a certain extent, and you could say, and Marx, and from what I understand about Marxism, is that there's always been this discussion or tension between the ruling class and workers, right? You could look back as far back as Rome, for example, when the proletariat, when the everyday people just left the city and just went to another hill, basically, and went on strike against the patriarchs of Rome. So there's always been this kind of worker.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Does this event have a name? Because I'd like to research that.
Oh, let me.
Sorry, I'm disrupting this rather
No,
than.
No. This is important. Walk out of Rome. I'm just Googling, quick Google search. Plebeians, that's right. The plebeians.
Maybe this was around the time of the Gracu brothers.
Those guys got that was before that. The what podcast I recommend is by Paul Duncan, who actually does the Revolution podcast too, that I'm a
Oh,
big fan
okay.
of. And he did, the first time I came across his work was his History of Rome podcast. And so definitely worth it. It is a long haul. It goes from the mythical founding of the city to the fall of the Western Empire. Because if you're going to talk about the eastern part of the Roman Empire, that would bring you up to, I don't know, the 1300s or so. And that's the more Byzantine kind of stuff. So it's a great podcast if you want to know about classical history.
Thank you so much. I've written it down.
Yeah.
In some ways, Romania even sort of tries to claim that they're the continuation of the Eastern Roman Empire.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I didn't find anything off the top of, because I probably did a shitty Google search. John Hudson's here, keeping it real. Keep Austin weird, dude. That is so good.
Yeah.
Mm.
The claims of Romania is not necessarily that serious these days, but it's like, that's
Okay.
sort of what they're trying to claim.
I found it.
Hey!
The proper Latin term, which I'm going to butcher, is called secessio, from the word secession, right? Or from our word, it's probably derived from that. Secessio plebis. It's the withdrawal of commoners or secession of the plebs. Was an informal exercise of power by Rome's plebeian citizens, similar in concept to a general strike. During secessio plebis, the plebs would abandon the city en masse in a protest emigration and leave the patrician order to themselves. Therefore, secessio meant that all shops and workshops would shut down and commercial transactions would largely cease. This was an effective strategy. So yeah, there was always this tension between workers and owners, basically.
Mm.
So even if there wasn't Marx, this dynamic is baked into our society.
Mm. Thank you so much. I had no idea that existed.
Sure. Yeah. Well, John Hudson, how you doing, sir?
Good.
In many ways, large movements or new technology or stuff, even if the specific person who did it, it's usually many, many years have been building up to this is something that is going to be happening, more or less. The exact details can shift, but the specific person, if it wasn't Karl Marx, someone else would have probably come up with basically the same kind of ideas.
Karl Marx.
I thought he was talking about Groucho.
Groucho, right. Dr. Firefly there, Rufus Firefly. And you raise a good point, Tom Foolery, right? Because obviously, let's go back again and talk about Isaac Newton's laws of motion. The laws of motion were already there. Newton just said, "Hey, let's put some math on this," and so these dynamics in labor markets and in society already existed. Marx just said, "Let me put a name to them, or let me codify them, and let me explain them."
And famous quote regarding this is, "If I have seen further, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." Yeah. Is basically, no, I'm just the person who did that last step that everyone recognizes. It's all the work before me that is really being just collected together.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I thought you guys were all talking about Groucho. I'll go wait in the truck.
I saw on the big screen, there's a independent movie theater, nonprofit, and they do, they played a couple of Marx Brothers. I saw Duck Soup.
Oh, yeah.
Big screen over there. A lot of fun. And I think, did I see A Night at the Opera? I don't know. I saw another one. I forget what it was.
I can tell you an interesting thing about the Marx Brothers.
Please
As
do.
a kid, these films were often on TV, and I didn't really think much of them at the time. It just seemed like zaniness to the point of not being funny. And then I saw one in a theater, and holy crap, how wrong I was. It was a really great experience. Yeah. And I remember some of the lines, hilarious. Yeah. And it sort of taught me a lesson as the format that the content is delivered to you really does matter.
Well, they did. They honed their craft doing live shows.
Yeah, vaudeville.
Yeah, vaudeville. And so when they already had all these bits ready. So when it was time to make movies, they used all these things that they had been practicing in front of a live audience for years.
I've always liked the slapstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the more stupid or the better, you know. Three Stooges film festivals and stuff like that. I'm all about it.
Yeah, dude. I'm with you on that.
The thing about you watch any of the new movies, it's just like a rehash of all the old movies ever. It's like it's hard to find a new plot, especially when it comes to comedy.
Yeah, it's well, you know, I mean, it's once again, you know, anything too creative is not rewarded in the marketplace 9 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah.
You can just lose audiences.
With those Stooges, most of what they were doing was just rehashes of old stuff too. There's really only one thing that they're really credited as innovating.
Beating the shit out of each other?
No. The one move that they are credited with inventing of the slapstick kind of genre, eye gouge.
Oh,
okay, eye gouge.
Yeah, no.
I remember reading that the Marx Brothers, of course, being Jewish, they had difficulty traveling down south.
I'm sure of it.
You know, back in the
Three Stooges were Jewish too.
Yeah. Back in the day, there were difficulties traveling in the evangelical, heavily Christianized southern part of the country.
One of Groucho Marx's famous quotes is actually about being Jewish, where he's like, "I'd never be a member of a group that would have me as a member," or whatever it was. It's like
I would never be part of a club who would.
I would never be a part of a club that would have me as a member. Was actually a commentary of the anti-Jewish rules of some clubs.
Oh, that's me to a T. I just really am not a member of any club that would have me as a member. There's something fucked up about them.
Yeah. I have a natural skepticism about anyone who would take you in as a member too.
Nip, 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 nip. Maybe they were just masters at inventing words that were fun to say. That's really, when you think about it, it's impressive.
Well, once again, when you look at Lewis Black, right, and you notice how many times he uses the K sound at the end of his sentences, it's like, oh, yeah, that guy, he has that trick, and he just loves doing that trick all the time.
To me, anything that's got the glah sound to it's funny, you know, for some reason.
And the thing is, you know, a lot of the time you don't realize what's funny until you start talking to a live crowd about it, right? You start telling the joke or the story, and then people laugh at that moment that you didn't think was funny. It's like, oh, I guess that's funny.
That really reminds me of the Vestibules sketch about them waiting at the bus.
About the Moravian Cross?
No, the Vestibules sketch about them waiting at the bus.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to manage my puppets. I'm trying to manage
my that either.
Just threaten them with a finger and they'll stop moving.
I heard something about that the other yesterday, about the middle finger. How it came about, that some I think it was some French king that said any of the men caught, the bowmen caught would have their middle finger cut off, and they're like pluck you know, they all raised up a finger in battle.
The story, as I understand it, let me take a step back about the symbolic fuck you, right? So if you know, from what I understand of baboon psychology and behavior, is that the male baboon, the alpha, will ceremonially mount the lower caste baboons in show of domination, right? So I'm the alpha male, there's a beta, whatever, male, and I will go up and symbolically mount him in terms of showing my dominance. So that could be somewhere we get fuck you, because when you think about it, when you say fuck you, well, it's like, why is that? That seems odd to say as a comment, to say, as a curse or some kind of attack, right? Fuck you. Very simian, very baboonish, I would say. So in the Battle of Agincourt, during the 100 Years' War, the English had bowmen, right? Bows over 6 feet tall. Interesting thing is that the bowmen would practice after church every Sunday, right?
It was mandatory.
You had
to. Everybody had to do it.
So if you've ever seen Henry V, there's especially the Kenneth Branagh version. It's my personal favorite one, and the real story. So there's the propaganda from Henry V and what really happened. So I think in the play, the odds are like 4-1 or something like that with the French versus the English. The English are trying; they've invaded France, and the English are just trying to go into winter quarters, while the French are like, no, we're gonna nail you, and we're gonna cut off, for every bowman, we're gonna cut off these 3 fingers right here. We're gonna cut off these 3 fingers, because fuck you, we can. Well, the battle didn't go well for the French. It was one of the greatest lopsided victories in history. The French side were decimated, partly because it was rainy ground. There was a cavalry charge, and the French kind of charged into a funnel.
Oops.
They charged into a funnel, and of course the rain of arrows did affect the charge, because if you're on your horse and the guy in front of you like falls down, then there's a high chance that you too are going to fall down too, and the guy behind you is going to fall down, and it becomes a clusterfuck basically of nothing but raining arrows, rain and mud and other French kniggets. Yeah, you know what I just did there. Other French kniggets. And that was basically, so this, when you see a Brit do this, it is in reference to the Battle of Agincourt, and basically their version of this. And that's my TED Talk on fuck yous.
The knights, because of horses falling on knights and whatnot, they tried to switch to snails, but you can't ride a snail.
You can't ride a snail, no.
But you can cook them, and they're delicious.
I don't think I've ever had a snail.
Oh, you got it. You escargot. It's got maybe a little bit of garlic and butter.
Oh, garlic.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, you have me with the garlic and the butter, but the snail,
yes.
I don't know. I'm very.
The texture is delicious.
Kind of rubbery.
What's that?
Pardon me?
Kind of rubbery.
Rubbery
garlic.
Well, I still say you should try it, despite the rubber.
Well, I should be trying new things. Due to my proclivities, due to my tendencies, I do not like new things.
Okay.
Yeah. I have issues. So, but my girlfriend, who is much more open to new things, which is good for me, by the way.
She's dating you.
She's right.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that. It's just...
Sure. So she does introduce me to new foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are snails vegetarian approved?
They're not vegetarian approved, so I think the boat has sailed on that.
Shoot.
I do have an ethical conundrum, though, as the holidays are coming up, is that even though I'm not going to be, and this is weird, right? Even though I'm not going to be eating meat, I think I'm going to be cooking meat for some of my guests. Right?
You're a good host.
I think I am a good host, yeah.
You're a good host to do that. Yes, absolutely.
So
what will you be cooking for them?
Well, my girl, so we have her family coming in for Christmas. And the girlfriend's like turns to me last night. She goes, why don't you just cook some lamb up? And I'm like, oh my God, lamb. I remember. There are a few things that make me happy. But lamb is one of those. Lamb off the bone is one of those things. So
shawarma, I love it.
Yeah. So I think I might be cooking up a leg of lamb for my relatives. While I have, I don't know, beans.
Maybe you could have a day off being a vegetarian. Or you declare that it's lamb vegetable.
The lamb, yeah, the lamb. What if the lamb's a vegetarian? Doesn't that make the lamb vegetarian too? Maybe.
I think so. By extension, you could make that argument.
I do all these apologetics about eating meat per day, but no, I have tendency. So I haven't had a piece of meat for well over a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was like a basically a switch in my head that it's like my weight loss. To tell you the truth, I'm well over 20 pounds.
You gained 20 pounds
lost.
Oh, okay.
Once I started becoming a vegetarian, I added weight because I went all in on cheese.
So,
and then
did you go off the meat cold turkey?
Yeah, it's complete. Yeah. I went.
If you could break it today, what would it be? Arby's or KFC?
KFC, not even a question.
Okay.
Not even a question. Yeah.
I've heard you mention the Arby's sandwich on several occasions.
Well, I was so bad on KFC is that Kentucky. There's a Kentucky Fried Chicken that opens up at 10:30 in the morning, and I would be there. At like
oh my God!
I'd be there at 10:15, knocking on the door. Do you have any thighs?
Andy needs wingies.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I had to go to this place to get some office supplies first thing in the morning because we were out of something at my family business. And there was a liquor store in the same area. And so I was there before the liquor store opened, and there was a lineup of people who were the saddest looking people, and they'd been caught because they were all alcoholics who really needed something to drink right now. And they're waiting for that store to open. Yeah. And it really made an impression on me.
Oh, yeah.
I have random comment. I don't know if it fits.
No. Yeah. Addiction is an addiction, right? I mean, I'm not saying I was addicted to KFC, and I've never been addicted. I am what people in the field would call, I have a high bottom. You can make whatever joke you want about that. That whenever I feel like I could be going into the red zone about something, I go like, maybe I shouldn't be doing everything except for romantic relationships. That is like crack cocaine to me. Toxic relationships. When I'm using, I'm like, give me more. I cannot take. I need more. Please give me more. That's yeah. So I can't even. Yeah. So I can't get near toxic relationships.
You're showing up at the KFC at 10:15. They don't open up till 10:30. But I don't have no fucking problem.
I know, dude. Right? Fucking typical addict talk, right, John Hudson?
I'm imagining Dr. Kennard, sort of withered and shriveled up, found outside a KFC.
Yeah. Talking about addictive behaviors, I'm just looking at the chat, and her boss is addicted to Keno. Yeah, anyone who has seen folks in convenience stores or in restaurants where there's Keno, there's some people who are highly addicted to Keno.
Oh my God. Is that like a scratch-off lottery?
It is basically you get to pick a series of numbers, and you get to see whether or not your numbers come up on the telly. Basically.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I overtalked you, Dr. Tom. I think I interrupted you there.
No.
Okay.
All right.
It's amazing how many different addictions people have.
Yeah.
Shopping, food, gambling, not just drugs. I mean,
Oh no.
And
No.
and they can be just as destructive as a drug addiction.
Sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of drugs, does anybody have any? I could use some.
Well, I think we might have some marijuana edibles in the freezer somewhere.
That would be nice.
I don't think that's going to happen. Oh,
There are
see,
people who
John
are
Hudson.
there are people who are addicted to stuff like exercise, even.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was addicted to adrenaline. Just anything that would fucking make my blood fucking just, you know.
I find that hard to believe, John Hudson, that you would be addicted to adrenaline.
Just, oh my God, just anything for a thrill, you know. There was a chance that I could get hurt. I got off on it.
Yeah, dude.
Rather it's to see how far I could fly a motorcycle, or you know, do a trick on wakeboard, or just getting into a fist fight. I thrived on that shit. It's like,
I hear you, John Hudson, and I understand it. Coming from my frail, fragile physical background, I'm not there with you. Like if we were there in the bar and you like decided to start a fight, I'd be like, yeah, you have all my moral support. Or maybe amoral support. So Scapegoat says, I can't imagine the suspense of gambling. You know, what's interesting from my psychology background, there's something called intermittent schedules of reinforcement. So like a consistent schedule of reinforcement is like getting your paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. But what is real honey for us monkeys is getting on a schedule of reinforcement where you get a cookie or you get some kind of special treat, but you never really know when you're going to get it. You know you could be getting it. You know it's somewhere in the mix, but you don't know when. And that seems to be the most powerful type of reinforcers, the most powerful schedule for us.
It's funny, you reminded me of my Psych 101 class, and they were trying to figure out, they were doing this thing with birds in this case, and they would give them a reward if they pressed the lever.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see how many times they could get this pigeon to press the level. Yeah. So maybe twice every, 3 times you get a treat. And then they did it randomly. And that just made the pigeon go crazy, and it was poking at a lever nonstop.
That's the Skinner box.
Yes, B.F. Skinner, which actually was buried close by where I live, over in Mount Auburn Cemetery. He has a very, very modest gravesite, B.F. Skinner. But yeah, so B.F. Skinner. So I don't know if you know about superstitious behavior with pigeons.
He's still alive?
B.F. Skinner is, pigeons are still. So let me talk about superstitious behavior, because this is really exciting when it comes down to religion and conspiracy theories and understanding causality. So pigeons who would get this kind of random kind of food pellet dropped into, or their a treat dropped into their box, right into their cage, the pigeon would start building these behaviors that it was doing just before it got the treat. And some pigeons developed dances, head movements, but none of them had anything to do with getting the treat or the reinforcer. This is called superstitious behavior. So the next time that you see a baseball player do the thing with his gloves, that's superstitious behavior, because they are associating this act with hitting a home run or getting on base.
Sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to make sure the gloves are tight.
Okay.
Yeah, but when he drops his pants as he goes up to the base, something's wrong.
So if you want to see something crazy, just go and just do a YouTube search of superstitious behavior in pigeons, and you'll be like, wow. If faith, religion isn't some kind of weird superstitious behavior in us monkeys, I don't know what is.
Well, it's like Jeff Hornacek. Anytime he would get up to the free throw line, he would do this.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was just weird nervous tick or something superstitious. What it was, I saw in an interview where after he retired, what he was doing, is he was telling his kids hi because he couldn't.
Oh, that's
You
interesting.
know,
That's
so yeah, so maybe some of that could be just a secret code to their
So
friends.
Carol Burnett had the same thing.
So if you look at people and how they scratch tickets, right? Scratchers, they probably have a system based on a time how they won, right? Even though they have absolutely no control over whether or not they win, it's totally random. I'm going to guess that a lot of people who scratch tickets on a regular basis have a system that they use, or a variety of systems.
I have a pretty good system with gambling. I get up and I get the fuck out of there when I win, you know, and I find it a very pleasurable experience.
Dude, I've been to Vegas twice, and I think the most I've gambled was $5, and that was then my girlfriend at the time gave me $5 to gamble on because I was just drinking stupid while she was gambling, and apparently she wanted me to gamble too. It's like, all right, so she gave me $5, which I lost within 2 minutes, of course.
Well, I did Vegas just prior to the pandemic, and I took a couple thousand with me, but I ended up leaving the town with 13.5. So,
oh yeah,
great.
It was a great vacation.
Yeah. Scapegoat as scary goes. I'm starting to think that we are naturally given to superstition as we are to fear inspiration. Well, you know, I mean, once again, causality is difficult to really get our minds around. And so it's easy to assume causality where it doesn't exist. And that naturally leads to this kind of, maybe the pigeons thought God, maybe there was a God pigeon crapping out. And it was doing a little dance to appease the God. You know, I don't know.
Or maybe they're just imitating Mick Jagger.
Maybe move like Jagger. Exactly.
Oh, speaking of pigeons, did anyone else see the amazing TYT story of pigeons wearing hats?
I saw it.
It was ingenious. Somebody would somehow manage to get hold of pigeons and would glue appropriately sized cowboy hats to their heads, and then they'd be walking around just doing pigeon stuff, and it was goddamn hilarious.
A little bit animal cruelty, but
a little bit. But on the other hand, pigeons.
I'm calling PETA.
You call him now. Tell him you were talking to a zebra.
Talking to a zebra about pigeons wearing hats.
Yes, and they'll take that complaint seriously, I'm sure. Oh, I love being a jerk.
Excellent.
It's appreciated.
Thank you.
What's interesting too about this kind of gambling behavior is there was an NPR story, National Public Radio, I was listening to about someone who got who was on psychiatric meds, and their doctor tweaked their behavioral med. What was it? Antidepressant, I think. And that just completely set them off into this kind of risk-taking, gambling behavior. And yeah, it was one of those super rare side effects of the drug. But yes, some psychopharmaceuticals will suddenly turn on that little pleasure system in your brain and turn you into an addict.
Holy crap.
Interesting thing about those addictive behaviors is you don't even need any real reward necessarily for the reward portion of it. This is like mobile games. You do your mobile game, you're getting basically nothing except just a little dopamine boost here and there, and that can be super addictive for tons of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you know, this is true because it's when you talk about, I think we can all agree that there are certain things that are super reinforcing, right? Like food, sex, sleep, things like that. But when you get into the weeds, there's a lot of things that are attractive to certain people that, of course, that are addictive for them in particular, but not addictive to the general population. On that happy note, I'm going to have to close out the show because we talked about all kinds of things. Pigeons. I love talking about pigeons, to tell you the truth. I took a couple of behavioral psych classes, and all we talked about were about pigeons, schedules of reinforcement, B.F. Skinner, this guy named Azrin with his pigeons, all about pigeons.
You're very well versed in your love of pigeons.
And endless talk about the cloaca.
Right. On that note, tomorrow, I'll see you later, everyone. Thank you, panel. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.